I'm really happy to welcome to the show Naveen Salvadurai, who's one of the co-founders of Foursquare. So basically, I want to talk about music, I want to talk about the platform and what you guys are doing at the moment. Thanks for being on the show.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks so much for having us.
So basically, let's start with how the Foursquare started out. You have a strong connection with the South by Southwest since you launched there. So was there like the idea of a connection with music from the beginning? Or did that come with the usage cases of your audience?
I think it came a lot with the usage of the audience. We launched it at South by Southwest because it's a great playground for people that are all together. They're all from different cities, and they all come together at this city in Austin, and they all want to do and go out and see and meet new people, and they want to go do and explore new music. So I think it was natural that they go hand in hand to some degree. A lot of the core of the service we built because we wanted to make it easier to meet up and get into interesting, experiences. Music lends itself really naturally to that because the act of going out to see shows is very much like that. You go out to see new music, you discover music, and you see where all the cool parties are and where all the interesting shows are and where the crowd is moving. And you start following the crowd, especially in a festival like that where you want to be at the newest, coolest band, and you want to listen to them because you get a chance to do that before anyone else in the world is going to get to. And it also is very natural there because you want to meet up with your friends and you want to make that easier and you want to meet new people. It's just natural fit.
Social location services are a big thing for the IT industry, but also for the music industry because more and more people are realizing the power of image recognition and location-based QR codes and the power of people gathering for gigs and checking in something like Foursquare to unlock particular badges or advantages. So how are you working with the music industry? Do you have particular partners or do you just go on a case-by-case basis?
Well, the platform is pretty open for anyone to come use the service in all sorts of interesting ways. You can come, create a brand page and you can register, a label or artist or whatever. You can create your page and you can put in tips and basically use the service as any other user would. And you put in tips and other people can come follow you. Your fans can come follow that page. And then when they go check in and they use the service, your tips are shown to them. If it's relevant, it pops up and it shows them and it says, this band wants you to go to the cafe across the street over there because this is where we hang out. This is where we write most of our music. It could be something as personal as that. There are obviously other ways too. So there are a couple of artists that actually use the service and they check in and they have and they send their check-ins to their fans. So as they move around in a city and as they go to new places and they go to shows and all these other things, they shout out to their friends where they are, and the fans get to see this stuff, and it creates a richer experience. So, for instance, I like to use the example of like a big boy who's been checking in all over, and I saw that he was in New York and he was checking into all sorts of cool places, and he actually checked into this Japanese restaurant in Midtown Manhattan. That I had never been to, that I discovered through him. He checked in and he went somewhere interesting, and I learned about something new about my own city that I live in from him, which is really exciting. So that kind of connection and that kind of experience, especially an experience that leads me to do something in real life and follow them in real life, is very exciting. It's very interesting.
And I read that you are interested in developing more of a Foursquare service into the social, integrating with social gaming, because it's kind of easier to get people to check in if there's some sort of gameplay involved in the process instead of just them having to remember that they have to do it. So how are you thinking of developing the social gaming part of the platform?
So we created the gaming aspects not to be a game, but to use the gaming like elements to try to make it more playful and more fun to use and to encourage different kind of behavior. If it was a game, maybe you might want to start it more often and use the service in a different way. And that's basically it. We're not trying to create a game. We're not trying to create a game platform. We're trying to create some interesting elements to see if we can use game-like stuff to encourage usage and behavior and change behavior and prescribe new things for people to try.
And there's quite a big take-up amongst music fans because Foursquare is kind of it's got a massive user base, but it's a very particular demographic of people that use Foursquare. I think it's 20s to 30s. Is sort of a lot of your demographics are around that area. So, do you think that there's a possibility there to actually monetize the service towards actually unlocking badges that are sponsored by brands or labels in that sense?
Yeah, there probably is a few different ways, and we're exploring some of those things. But I think more importantly, the exciting stuff comes from, like I was saying, sharing the expertise. What do they know that I would also like to know, and what can I learn from that, from their experiences, and how can I make my experience of a city better? And I think there's value in that. And then on the other side, in terms of the business, but I think our big goal is to create a great platform for local businesses. So, I can see a whole bunch of concert venues and music-related spaces sponsoring deals and specials into our system, so that let's say you go to a show a lot, let's say you go to a certain concert hall a lot, maybe you go there 10 times in a month, maybe your 11th and 12th trips are free, maybe you get to see a free show or two. That's very exciting for the consumer, for the user, for the fan, because it shows that people are actually kind of interested in listening to what they like, and they want to give them more to experience the world and to experience that music.
And did you find it hard? Could the platform expanded globally, like really quickly? And did you find it hard to actually be able to cater for the users that you have in different countries? Because, for example, I know there's a huge amount of like Foursquare deals in New York or San Francisco or Los Angeles, and even London. But do you find it hard to actually be able to excite the users about the platforms that are in locations that are not quite as well catered for?
Yeah, we're constantly, obviously, improving that experience for all users. We're still a relatively small team. We were a really small team even a year ago. Now we were only 7 people a year ago. So we've grown a lot in this year and in this past year, and we're going to use this coming year to really build upon that, to use that energy and to use that team to build better things and to build them faster. So from an experience and engagement for everyone, for all users, we're going to localize the application in lots of languages so people can get a more personal experience, obviously, and easier to understand experience. We're going to get better at teaching the users on how to use it and giving them better examples on why you would use it. We have tens of thousands of specials all around the world. It's true, most of them are now, in the US or the West, but there are lots in Asia now, and I think the numbers only continue to grow as users and businesses understand how to use it better. And we're doing good partnerships, both on the API side of things with developers who are building interesting applications on top of our platform. They're building applications to meet other people. They're building applications that are essentially games on top of our platform, fun things that you can play to kill time in between, when you're commuting or something. And then we're also partnering with a lot of other, obviously brands and businesses and all these other partners to expand our reach and to expand the experience of it, to expand with more specials or, more things that people can get out of the system.
And you, in terms of like developing stuff, you've also announced your first Foursquare developers sort of hack day. Mm-hmm. Yep. So how's that going to work? And is it going to be based in New York office?
Yep. So for now, it's our first developers hack day. So we're almost 2 years old now. We'll be 2 years old in March, and it's something we've been wanting to do for a long time, to organize a hack day and get developers to come. We have almost 2,000 developers that are registered on our developer mailing list already, and there are hundreds of applications that are already built on top of the platform. So we thought it would be interesting. We just came out with version 2 of our API in December, and we thought now is a really good time to hold a developers meetup. We're doing it in New York City because that's where most of our team is, so this gives you a chance to maybe also meet our engineers and meet our team. And in the future, we'll have developer events all around in different cities around the world. For now, we just wanted to start with something really simple. We're going to do that. So that's coming up next month.
In terms of scaling, like it's interesting that Foursquare, I've used it quite a few times and I've never found it to be down, or I haven't had any lags or anything like that. So how did you build the platform to scale quite so well? Because Twitter, at the beginning was just going down all the time.
Mm-hmm. No, I think, we have, issues here and there. I think every service really does, but I think I think we've just built things in the right way, and we've been lucky not to have any of the major lapses that maybe the other services have had.
Yeah. And in terms of competition, after you launched, there's been a number of other services coming out, and Facebook will launch the Facebook Places, there's a Scavenger, there's a Gowalla. So what do you think gives you the edge over other services in terms of both user base and usability of the service?
I think obviously the user base has a lot to do with it. I think we have to continue getting better at giving users a better experience. So we know why, with all of these services, why would you want to advertise this? Why would you want to use the service? What's in it for me is what all the users ask. And I think we have an interesting proposition. We're not a game like a couple of the other platforms. We're really a utility that helps you go connect in the real world. It helps you connect with your friends. It helps you connect with more interesting places to try. And we're constantly improving, as I said, with all of our applications. The applications are getting better and more feature rich. And we're also improving the way we do business related things, business deals. Like you have more specials in the system. You have always had something to discover. A combination of all of those things, I think, is what going to keep users engaged. And I think the engagement is what makes a more valuable product at the end of the day. Yeah.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and with the growth like the one you're experiencing at the moment, which is astounding. Let's see where you're going to be at next year.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having us.